What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pat's Chat. I'm Doug Kyed, joined as always by Michael Hurley. Michael, how are you doing on this Thursday morning at 9:37 a.m.?
Great. I just had to send the promotional tweet on X.com.
X.com.
X.com. It's the everything platform. Were you a Community watcher? The show?
No. No,
Oh,
no, I was not.
great
Sorry.
show.
Yeah.
Troy and Abed had a fake morning show, it was like the Today Show,
Yeah.
and they had a little Troy and Abed in the morning. So that was my promotional tweet. It's probably going to get us millions of new listeners. So welcome everyone. That was brought in by that hook.
Wow. Look at that. Nope.
You
Was
should
never.
watch
Maybe.
Community.
Maybe I'll watch Community. Maybe I'll put that on late at night
The world
instead
needs
of
smiles.
Seinfeld for the 200th time.
Yeah, you need some chuckles.
Yeah. Well,
Speaking
Patriots
of
are facing the
chuckles,
Steelers this week. And let's start off by talking about Christian Gonzalez because he returned to practice on Wednesday, which obviously very good sign. I've got some more to talk about with Christian Gonzalez, but just right off the top, him being back at practice. I don't know if you saw any of the words that he said yesterday when we were talking to him, but do you have thoughts on all of this?
um, I I've seen discussions and debates on the radio and whatnot that it's like contract related, which
It
to me
can't
has
be.
really boggled my mind.
Yeah,
If anything, this would theoretically hurt his next contract.
right.
GP, pretty important stat.
Yeah,
Games played. He doesn't have a lot of them in his career, so
right.
I would think this would be a year he wants to get back on the field. So I've never quite understood that part, but other than that, no, I think you're setting me up, and I don't want to steer the conversation in a way that you want it to go somewhere else.
No,
I'm
no, no,
scared.
no.
I'm scared, Doug.
I just wanted to give you an open floor. Obviously, overall, him being back at practice, good thing.
Yeah.
Um, I do want to talk about some of the, let's call it like vitriol,
Okay.
regarding Christian Gonzalez because like I see a lot. I know that like social media is probably not the best place to look towards the public opinion on something.
Hmm.
But I also know that it's what players see. Like players don't go around talking to fans every day when they're in the grocery store or whatever, but they
Yeah.
do see what people say on social media. And I've seen a lot of Patriots fans being vitriolic towards Christian Gonzalez and calling him soft and um, kind of, I don't know, just hating on the Patriots' best defensive player.
Best
And
player,
first of all,
arguably.
the guy is injured. Like the guy's got a hamstring injury. He likes football. He loves football. He said it yesterday. I don't think he wants to be sitting out. So first of all, I don't think it's uh, it's not a fair opinion to have. But I think that this also like obviously it stems from some of the media. So like I'm not being vitriolic towards Christian Gonzalez. I haven't stirred up any rumors about him. I haven't said anything about this being contract related because I don't believe that. Other people have. So I think that that's probably where some fans get it from. So I'm not saying that we are blameless in this situation, but at a certain point, I don't know, it becomes a little bit dangerous to do this towards your best players, whether you're in the
Yeah.
media or if you're a fan,
You're saying
because
like there
like
could be
that
an
can
effect.
lead a player toward not wanting to play for your team anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't think you ever really want to get there with the Patriots because this already isn't, we've shown over the last few years, like the most, I don't know, desirable place to play for some reasons.
Yeah.
And if players start to think like, oh, if I get hurt, the fan base is going to despise me.
Yeah.
I don't think that's doing you any favors either. So obviously everyone can have whatever opinions you want, but for Christian Gonzalez, and this is only my opinion, this comes with no prior knowledge. This is not any sort of report whatsoever. This is purely my opinion.
Everybody hit record.
If I were Christian Gonzalez and I'm playing on the Patriots, and the guy who drafted me is two regimes ago, I'm on my third head coach, I'm on my whatever, third defensive coordinator, third cornerback, whatever. And then like I do have to sign a contract somewhere else. I don't know, and the fans hate me because I got injured. Like, why would I want to re-sign with it? Why would I want to stay with the Patriots? And like, I know that if he gets
Huh.
franchised, like he wouldn't have a choice. But I don't know. I think that that's the territory that you get into when you do this, whether you're in the media or the fan base. And I don't think it's a good place to be. I don't know.
True. And I guess, like I said, when the radio's saying you're holding out for a contract when
Right.
you
And if
can't get
yeah.
a contract, I wouldn't disagree, but I would say it would clearly be a grass is greener situation because one thing about NFL fans everywhere on the
Oh yeah.
internet, they're a
Yeah.
bit nuts on the
Right.
internet. So I don't know that it's like, oh, I'll sign with Cleveland and
No.
they'll love me because
Right.
it's almost worse in that sense because then you're the high priced free agent that came in and didn't save the franchise.
Right. There's no background, but yeah.
Outside of joining like a dynasty in progress, it's a losing proposition anyway. So I don't know. It's an individual thing, I suppose, but that would
Yeah.
be my perspective as someone that's sort of observed most of it for a long time. But it's going to be different when you're 25 and about to
Yeah.
become a 100 millionaire.
No, 100%. I'll also say this. Um, I think that it is in players' best interests to be as interesting and promotable and funny and all those different things as possible. And I don't think it's Christian Gonzalez's fault, obviously, that he's just like a quiet guy or whatever. But I think that like I saw it with Brandon Cooks, let's say in like 2017. The fan base didn't exactly like fall in love with Brandon Cooks. I think that some of that is just kind of like he was always not the most verbose with the media, didn't really show his personality that much. I just think that like in this current era of fandom and everything, and I don't want to blame players for this because I do think it's the media and fans' fault, but I do think it makes sense to grow your brand and show your personality and get fans to love you in some other way as much as possible too.
Yeah.
Because I think that that's just kind of how you build a rapport with a fan base,
Well,
and you don't have to go around kissing babies and shaking hands or anything like that. But I think Edelman obviously was the probably did the best
that's what I
job
was
of
going to
this.
say because
Yeah,
we've talked about that. He was like a legit a-hole to the media, at least to
right.
start, and was had no personality and was just sort of like he was like someone who like crawled out of the sewers and you tried to talk to him. It was
Yeah,
like, and then at a certain point, something dawned on him that he started making YouTube videos and stuff and was like, oh, people are going to like me.
yeah.
And it has worked out for him because I
And
believe
then
Saturday he's getting a red jacket.
and yeah, and like press conferences and media scrums, he found out was another way to like show that personality and say some funny things about Tom Brady or do some other and like I think that Stephon Diggs has already done a pretty good job of that where like after the game someone asked him what he thought of Mike Vrabel chasing after Antonio Gibson. He said like, "Oh, I thought he looked slow as hell." So like that's just like a
Yeah.
funny dig at the head coach that fans are gonna be like, "Ah, that
Well,
was good."
Diggs also leads the league in phrases you've never even conceived of before. Yesterday was what something about the sale, be on the sale.
Mm,
The other time it was eat what's on my plate, which is pretty standard. Then
right.
it was what tend your own garden or
Mm.
something to that effect. So he's just I think he has a calendar, like a daily desk calendar with a little saying on it. And then if someone asks him a question that day, he's like, I'm going to answer with what that calendar said.
It's like how what Andrew Callahan used to do on NBC Sports
Yeah.
Boston, where someone would like give him a phrase that he has to fit into his segment. Yeah,
Which I don't know how he ever did that. I'm fighting for my life out there on live TV. I'm not navigating
not playing a game
buzzword.
out of it.
I'm not
Yeah,
playing dictionary.com with my followers, but that's just what makes Andrew a special talent.
sure is. But no, I do think that benefits players quite a
Well,
bit to
I
be
don't
personable. Yeah.
yeah, I don't disagree. I kind of like the idea of like a silent assassin as a number one cornerback
Well,
personally. I would prefer he
Stephon
gets
Gilmore did
quieter.
that.
Yeah.
Gilmore did that, but he also would like after games throw in little digs at the players that he shut down, like when he
Yeah.
called Travis Kelsey slow.
I don't remember that, but he had a little bit of cockiness to him.
Yeah.
I remember you ever like end up you start talking to someone in the locker room. You're much more of a reporter than I am, but like you'll go to someone and start talking to them, and then like the scrum really builds around you.
Mm,
I just happened to be like right up with Stephon Gilmore right after the AFC Championship game when he broke up the pass from Blake Bortles to was Dede Westbrook.
mm,
It was the game-ending fourth down
yeah.
pass breakup, and so I just like happened to start it, and then like all of a sudden like 85,000 people like I'm like I could never get out of here. Like it was sort of intimidating. I thought, uh-oh, I lost that.
Oh,
This is
there we
bad.
go.
I thought they were going to
I
push
didn't
me
know
into
you could
him.
do this.
Oh, well, there we go. I thought like people were going to bump me and then all of a sudden I'd be like smooching Stephon Gilmore. But anyways,
That is
You'd
the
ask
worst
him
though.
questions.
If you have to be somewhere else at that point, then you're like, no, but I'm actually just trapped right now. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the point was like, I remember that scrum, and it was like the standard questions, like,
Yeah.
you made a play to send your team to the Super Bowl. Like, how's it? And he was always just like, yeah. It basically, the message was like, I knew I had it. And like
Yeah.
he had a sort of strong confidence and quiet cockiness that I
Yes.
think worked well for him.
I think
I rem
like Gonzalez can build it up as he plays. Obviously, he's still a young player.
Yeah.
Um,
But he'll never be like Ty Law, you know?
no. Oh, right. Yeah. No. Or yeah. Exactly. He'll never be like Aqib Talib or Yeah.
No one will ever be like Aqib Talib.
Um,
But like it's
the
like
Stephon Gilmore quote about Travis Kelce being slow. That was the game. I think must have been 2018 AFC Championship game. He halfway through the game, he started covering Travis Kelce, and after the game, I was like, "Oh, how tough was that to switch matchups and start covering a tight end at the end?" He was like, "Not hard." I was like, "Oh, why?" Because he's slow. It was just so great.
I guess though, like I'm looking just for the example, the ESPN list for the executives, coaches with top cornerbacks. Like, are there like overbearing personalities on any of these guys? Like, we don't know them that well, the way that maybe we did a generation before.
It's true. I think Sauce Gardner is like a pretty good quote. I think he's pretty talkative.
Yeah, but he's not sort of bombastic.
Right.
I'll always appreciate Sauce Gardner for being like Mac Jones hit me in the balls or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys, like I don't know, like you
Even
could
though
go right to
Derek Stingley
Jalen
that well.
Ramsey, but I wouldn't consider him
Yeah.
part of that. He's sort of the old guard.
Yeah, he's the old guard. Yeah.
Uh, like Marlon Humphrey, same deal.
Right.
And these are guys like Trevon Diggs. These are guys that are outside of the top 10. Like if you look at all of the top young corners, they're not, what's the right word? Like overbearing personalities.
It's true. I think they're all within the first, let's call it like 3 or 4 years of their career, though, too. So I think we'll
Yeah.
get there with them.
Like Sertan, Stingley, Denzel Ward, Trent McDuffie, Sauce Gardner, Christian Gonzalez, J.C. Horn, Jalen Johnson, Quinion Mitchell, and Devin
Yeah.
Witherspoon. Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't,
No, it's true.
it's not those like the guys we mentioned. So maybe
Yeah.
it's sometimes you got to zoom out and see the
It's true.
trends.
It's very true. One last point on Gonzalez. The Steelers this season,
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
they really only use two wide receivers. They use DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin. Their third wide receiver has, I believe, only played 34 snaps this season, which means that they use a lot of two tight end sets, a lot of Freiermuth, a lot of Johnny Smith. This is a long way of saying that obviously you'd prefer to have Christian Gonzalez on DK
Yeah.
Metcalf, but it also wouldn't be the worst week to maybe ease Christian Gonzalez in or just give him one more week to get fully healthy, because there is a world where you can start Marcus Jones against Calvin Austin. You can start Carlton Davis against DK Metcalf. And then you use Alex Austin against the tight ends or Alex Austin against the third wide receiver. Like, you don't really need three top tier cornerbacks for this game. And
Yeah.
obviously we'd all love to see Christian Gonzalez. Like I said, much better to match him up against DK Metcalf, but you don't need to push it if it's not there yet.
Yeah. And that's not even a matchup that I would look at in love for Gonzalez, just because Metcalf is so big and imposing that it's just sort of, it's not like you shut him down with speed and skill. Like he can still muscle
Right. Yeah.
you.
He can still, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm kind of sick, not to start a patch chat war. I'm kind of sick of the like you can get by without Christian Gonzalez takes, because you can't.
Yeah.
Because we've learned you can't. Because we've learned this defense is awful
Yeah.
and desperately needs talent. And he's so good that I think it changes a percentage of that, whether that's 10% or 30% or 50%. I don't know, but I do think it's time to see it. And that brings me to the point I wanted to bring up, Doug, because you mentioned Carlton Davis. He's on the injury report now with an Achilles. And
Yeah, that was a little interesting.
well, that's what I wanted to bring up, right? Because the injury report, pretty busy. You have Keion White, Christian Barmore, Kayvon Chason, Carlton Davis, Christian Gonzalez, Harold Landry, Marte Mapu, Morgan Moses, Jack Westover, and Jared Wilson, all limited. And this is what we don't, I mean, that's like, oh God, you're 2 weeks into the season. And like, if let's say Davis has a real Achilles problem, big problem. I
Right.
guess what we don't know is this how Mike? I almost said Gerard Mayo. Is this how Mike Vrabel is going to operate to keep everyone as healthy as possible? Because is this the veteran rest continuing from the summer, or is it these guys are all on the verge of snapping something and I'm scared? Though, then
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it depends on your outlook,
Yeah.
but it could be one or the other.
So I think that in some cases, like with Harold Landry, let's say, I think it's like a veteran rest thing.
Yeah.
Morgan Moses was in a walking boot after the game, so I tend to believe that that foot injury is a real thing. I don't know how serious it is,
Well,
but
you know people that fake walking boot injuries.
I would never accuse anyone of faking a walking boot injury.
Right.
But with someone like, but then when it comes up with like Carlton Davis, you're like, okay, so is it real or is it a continuation of the summer? Because we also still don't know what Carlton Davis was dealing with all summer
Right.
to keep him off the field. And if we knew that it was an Achilles injury, then we'd be like, oh, okay, it's probably just what he was dealing with over the summer, and they're like giving him some veteran rest. But when you see
But
like limited with Achilles injury, you're like, what the hell happened in practice? Obviously.
and I'm thinking back, this is years ago now. Richard Sherman tore his Achilles on a Thursday night game and came out after and killed the NFL for having Thursday night because it was December, I think, and he's like,
Right.
I knew like my Achilles was sore for this amount of time. And it's like he pushed it and he knew it
Right.
would happen. Granted, that's one case, but it's just, I don't know. Achilles is obviously when you see the word Achilles pop up on the injury report, it's not like hamstring or
Right.
quad or
Yeah.
hip. It's like, oh, I don't know what you do about that.
Right. Yeah. It feels like something bad could happen. And obviously, hoping Carlton Davis stays healthy for the whole season because can't. I would love to see Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez actually play together, and it would be
Right.
really disappointing if that never
Yeah.
happened. So
But then like Christian Barmore's on there, it's not injury related. So like that's the
he's
straight
still
up.
resting because of the blood
Yeah.
clots. That's how to keep him playing, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wonder like would we see more other not injury related
Right.
if it were more, but maybe you're not allowed to do that. And everyone, you could find an ailment on anyone on a football team that plays
Yeah.
professional football.
Yeah. Keion White still dealing with the illness. He was in street clothes at Patriots practice yesterday, so we'll see what happens with that. But I haven't seen him in the locker room since before week one.
I think Mark posted a picture of him yesterday
Well, yeah,
at
he was at
practice.
practice in street
Yeah.
clothes. Yeah,
That's a long illness.
it is. I don't know what's going on there, but Anthony Jennings played pretty well in week two, so they've got a good fill-in.
Yeah,
If it's
speaking
necessary.
about playing well, shout out to these eyeballs right here. The eyeball test still works. I saw somewhere Barmore and Williams huge
Yeah,
PFF grades, despite, I didn't know that post game, but I
it's
knew
true.
it. I knew it from the eyeballs. So
These guys are doing some stuff in there. Yeah,
still
it's
working,
true.
baby.
It's
How about,
very,
you know what we
very exciting.
probably underplayed?
What?
We had addressed it, but Will Campbell's day.
Yeah, no, for sure. Will Campbell was great. Jared Wilson was really good too.
Yep.
And
Zero pressures both.
listen, Dolphins defense as a whole, it's playing like the worst in the NFL. But like
Dog food.
they have guys. They have Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, Matthew Judon, Jalen Phillips, Zach Seiler. Like there are some guys in there who can beat you,
hmm hmm
and they weren't beat.
Yeah. I did see, though, David Andrews on Twitter trying to explain the free rusher that Maye had to run away from when Judon came in completely unblocked. And I still don't fully like that. That could be an issue that they're going to want to square away, like
Right,
just a completely unaccounted rusher. Like it wasn't as if Will Campbell didn't block anyone. It's
right,
just the call was wrong.
yeah.
And that was a potential issue against a team that doesn't suck.
So and this week against the Steelers, you've got T.J. Watt, who typically rushes from the defensive left, which means that that's going to be a Morgan Moses
Yeah.
job, which is a little scary because he's dealing with the foot injury. No Alex Highsmith in this game, which helps Will Campbell, but you do still have Hayward in there. So he rushes. He's usually lined up on the defensive right. It's kind of more of a Jared Wilson thing, but Will Campbell's definitely going to have to help out
Yeah.
as well. Yeah,
It
against
should
Cameron Hayward.
be like Watt is a different rusher. I think like when they faced Crosby, he'd line up outside the tackle and be rushing on the other side of the center. Like he
Right.
was
Yeah.
a maniac. I don't think Watt is going to be that insane
Right.
in terms of who he's going against. So maybe that helps the unit, even if it doesn't help Morgan Moses.
Yeah, and I think that the Patriots have been using so much 12 personnel, and they've had a lot of running backs helping out in blitz pickup and everything too. That I know when it's
Have
Ramondre
they?
Stevenson, it looks a lot better than Trevion Henderson right now. But yeah, I think you might see some chips from Hunter Henry, from Austin Hooper, from Mac Hollins, who's been
Yeah.
kind of doing some little flexy tight end type of stuff. So there's ways to slow down TJ Watt, but certainly would not be surprised if we see TJ Watt get a sack and some pressures against Morgan Moses this week.
Yes. And it's time now for your fun Pittsburgh Steelers stat of the week. Because
Yes.
I think this is relevant. As you know, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 1-1. They won a barn burner against the Jets in week 1. What
Yep.
was it, 32-30? Something to that effect? 34-32.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they lost last week 31-17. So they are 8th in scoring offense,
Mm-hmm.
pretty high. 29th in scoring defense,
Mm.
pretty low.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of yards and defense, 29th matches the points. So you're like, okay, that checks
That
out.
adds up.
But as you know, they're the 8th ranked scoring offense. Do you know where they rank in offensive yards?
I would guess lower.
27th.
Wow.
So we know
A
they
statistical
scored on
anomaly.
no, they gave up that Steelers point. Yeah. No, they I'm trying to think. There was the Jets fumble in week 1 in the kick return. So that was a short
Mhm.
field. But to be 8th in point, and it's only 2 weeks, and these things can happen statistically.
Right.
But it tells you that maybe that output of 34 and 17, which comes out to quick math 51,
Mhm.
25 and a half points per game, is a little bit less considering they've not moved the ball all that far.
It's very true. They didn't run well against the Seahawks, and Aaron Rodgers only threw for 200 yards, had 2 interceptions, which is very un-Aaron Rodgers-esque. Week 1, I know that Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns, but he only had 244 yards. Once again, didn't run the ball well. So I think this all adds up that, yeah, they have not exactly been high-powered from moving down the field, but they are scoring a lot, especially against that in that Jets game. So there's a way to slow them down, but the Patriots have to prove that they can do it, which I guess gets to our next thing. Patriots' biggest issues, Patriots' biggest weaknesses as we talk about week 3. Does it start for you at linebacker or in the secondary?
To me,
Or
it's
something on offense. Could be something on offense.
I still don't. All right, reset. I believe they're trying to do something with the secondary. I'm not sure what it is. I don't fully know. And I also kind of give them a slight pass for week 1 because they blitzed the hell out of situations where they didn't need to be blitzing, which put the secondary in an unnecessary strain. So I would say, I forget who I was reading yesterday, and it was something to the effect of, yeah, you might get more Mapu and Gibbons. And it's like, I think it was about Spillane's struggles. And it's like, well, that's not good. That's not good. So to be hearing that after 2 weeks, I don't know. I would guess it's like that linebacker spot is legitimately concerning. At least we know they like their safeties, but
Right.
I would say it's tied together.
So I do think that they're, trying to play their safeties back in, like, they do some quarters stuff. They do some cover 2 stuff with their safeties and their corners and everything. So they definitely want them playing deep. It didn't help that much against Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill last week because they still do a lot of man coverage. But I don't think so. Robert Spillane's not going anywhere. He's going to continue to play 100% of snaps. Like that's not something that's going to change. I do think there's something to be done with Christian Ellis, but like you said, like Jack Gibbons probably not the answer. I do think there's still something possibly there with Marte Mapu, just because he is more athletic than the other linebacker options, and he's still learning how to play linebacker, which I think gives him more potential than some of the other guys. But obviously, had the great interception, but Wasn't
Uh,
didn't play great on the big play by Devon Achan where he stepped out of bounds.
we're gonna call it a great interception.
Not, I mean, it was a bad throw by Tua, but like at least he made that play, you know?
Sure. Yeah, he
Yeah,
caught it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's the defense has to be better, and this is a good test of it because you have, yeah, an all-time quarterback who's over 40.
Yeah,
You have an offense with a great receiver,
yeah.
and then it does dip down. So there's going to be an opportunity. This is a big one. This is really a big one. You win this
I
one,
mean, starting 2-1 would be huge for this team. Starting one
especially
and
with
two would be. It's
fine
not a
because
disaster, obviously.
you got Carolina waiting in week 4. You should be
Right.
able to win that one. But if you're looking at 3-1, now everyone's going to get silly with it and start saying they're going to go on a run.
That's the issue. Is that like if they start 3-1, then people are gonna start getting a little stupid.
Though I have an important football take, and it applies to the Patriots. A lot of people opining, and I don't think we said it like this, that the Patriots simply got lucky that Achan's foot was out of bounds, that they got lucky that the foot
Oh
was out
yeah, I
of
never
bounds.
said that. Yeah,
The football field's dimensions are very well defined.
yeah,
They are painted very, very clearly.
yeah.
And so it was not a toe out of bounds. It was an entire foot. Like
Right,
yeah, you thought he scored in the moment, but no one on the field did, or no
right.
officials on the field did because it was that. So there was no luck on that
Yeah,
one. And I just, because they say like, oh, if he scores there, you lose. Maybe there was a minute 9 left. They would have needed a field goal. Miami
yeah,
stinks. Like they very well could have still won the game, but even still, I don't think it's luck when someone violates the most basic rule of the game and it gets
yeah,
enforced. That'd be like if you know uh, Drake May threw a forward pass and it batted back to him, and then he threw another one, and they said, no, you can't do that. It's a rule. It's very, very clearly defined. So I don't think they're lucky to be 1-1.
No, I think that's true. I agree with that.
Thanks.
Yeah, saw some people kind of discounting the win because of that. I didn't think that was fair. Um, Long-term issues on this team, and I didn't prepare you for this,
I'm always
but
prepared.
as far as like long-term concerns on this team and like needs, you'd just the way the roster is currently constructed, I think you'd like to have another really good edge rusher opposite Harold Landry. I don't know if we've fully seen that other position get filled yet. You'd like a better linebacker in there and wide receiver. I mean, you could throw safety in there too. But I think that's what I'm looking at right now is like the four biggest needs, I guess. I don't know.
Mm,
Guard or center long term.
so just
But
everything, pretty much.
no, because I mean, running back, you're good. Quarterback, you're good. Tight end, as long as Henry and Hooper are there, you're good. Left tackle. I don't know. I mean, like just like glaring, like what you would want to fill right
Yeah,
this second with, let's call it like a trade or whatever.
yeah.
I think you'd want another edge defender. I think you'd want a linebacker.
I probably wouldn't put receiver there. Like I think this receiving group is good enough. I don't think they're a great
Right.
group,
You just
but
always like if you can get that like AJ Brown type of guy, you're always going to want
sure.
it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the
you
wide
might want to.
receiver core has not been an issue up to this point so far.
Right. I mean, they each got one target apiece pretty much last week,
Right.
so it's not
Yeah.
their fault. I'm surprised you didn't put punter on there. You don't like Behringer. Kicker might actually. Kicker might
Right.
be. My peepers are peeled on that one, but yeah, I don't know. But it depends, I guess, what you want them to be. Like if they are to fulfill. We started, hot. We were like 10 wins, and then we're like, all right, how about 9 and 8? And I think that was our collective settlement. And then that was before camp.
Right.
As the summer went on, I came back to 8 or 7.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. It's just the reality
Yeah.
of the roster limitations
Right.
were. So to get to 7 or 8, like I don't think you need most of those.
No. I'm not saying they need it like right now. I think that this is still a building team.
So you're saying in the 2 to 3 year rebuild, that's where you're looking. That makes
Right.
sense.
Like this offseason, right this second, if I look at their roster and like
Yeah.
obviously this isn't the greatest experiment to do or exercise to do because like not all of these guys would come back, but like if 100% of the players on the current roster came back and were playing to their exact same skill level, like where are the areas that you would most like to say like let's drop a really good player here. Let's drop a really good player here. I think edge is a current spot that you'd
Yeah.
want a really good player dropped into. I think linebacker is a spot, and I think safety is a spot.
Yeah.
Because like as of right now, like obviously week one was a lot different than week two, but like in week two, the offensive line was not an issue, at least in pass protection.
Yeah.
Um, the way that the defense was, which I
And I
think would
guess
probably come as a surprise to people entering the season.
for sure. And I would guess so. You're talking about investing your heaviest draft resources, and so considering last year you went QB, receiver, O line with your top picks, and only one of those worked out.
Right. Yeah.
This year you're looking to be in better position
Yeah.
with tackle, running back. Now receiver, there's one receiver there. I saw Kyle Williams played 10 snaps last week.
Yeah.
Surprised that was more than I would have guessed if you had asked me post game.
Yeah. He's almost being used as like, I don't know, deception piece in there because it's like when they run the ball, they put Kyle Williams on the field.
Yeah.
They just
I'd
like
like to
split him
see.
off, at X wide receiver in a 2 tight end, 3 tight end set, whatever it
Yeah.
is, and then they just run the ball.
So I guess he's the X factor in your list that you just laid out. Like if he can be an NFL player, maybe that alleviates some of the need there. And then
For sure.
the only pot, like Keion White's been sick for a week. We had high expectations for how he might grow under Vrabel. At least I did. Week one was bad. We'll
I think
see.
based on the summer too, I think it's fair to say that that has not happened.
So what do you think? Do you think we all liked Keion White as a rookie? He looked like a big, tough bowling ball sort of
Mm-hmm.
problem for offensive lines, and he got worse last year. And I think we all wrote it off as bad coaching, chaotic year. Still should have the talent. Is it going to just not happen? You think?
I think it's certainly possible because he's what 26 at this point.
No need to
Uh,
age shame a nice young man,
he'll
but
be 27 in January. So and like
yeah.
I
So like he's fully grown, is what you're saying.
basically and like I think the issue is that he's basically just a guy who can bull rush, and
Yeah, no pass rush moves.
he's a great athlete. Obviously, like there's few human beings in the world who are 6'5", 290 pounds,
Yeah.
who can be a stand-up outside linebacker. The issue is that offensive tackles are also really strong and really good athletes. So if you're 290 pounds and your biggest plan is to just like bull rush a guy who's 6'5", 320 pounds, that guy's probably not going to give that much way. Like you have to really be able to overpower them. And I don't think he's doing that. So you'd like to see a little bit more of a counter. And I don't think that hasn't
Well,
happened yet. That hasn't worked.
you're the big height weight guy in this conversation. You're the expert. Could someone at Keion White's size find a role, considering he doesn't have any pass rush moves on the outside, in like the interior, where it'd be sort of an
Yeah. And
undersized interior pass rusher? Like he's not a run stopping defensive tackle, but
right.
maybe like a third down defensive tackle going up against a center or guard seems to be a winnable battle.
He's done it before.
Yeah.
And I think he's
I mean,
had
in
some
terms of,
success doing it before. Like the issue right now is that you don't really want to take Barmore or Williams off the
right.
field in those situations. But like, yeah, I think that Keion White could spell Christian Barmore in those situations. Like, I think what this all comes back to too is though that like I have no idea about how much Keion White is buying in with Vrabel. He's said some of the right things at times, but like if Vrabel is trying to build a team where everyone's buying in, everyone's on the same page, everyone's moving in the same direction, Keion White is just a different personality. Like we've seen some of the quotes that he's had about Gerard Mayo in the past, or Bill Belichick in the past, or different coaches, or when he said in the during the summer, like, what do you think about Mike Vrabel so far? And he said, like, I think he's a pretty good coach. Like, like I think he meant that as a good thing, but it's just like he's a different guy who says different things, and I don't know. We'll see how this all shakes out. But like I said, like Anthony Jennings played well in week two.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who has done all of the right things dating back to the spring and summer when he was buried on the depth chart, and he's still giving it a full go on scout team and second string and third string. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. I
Yeah,
still, it would be great if Keion White could still thrive either on the edge or as a rotational interior pass rusher. We just haven't seen it yet. And
yeah.
for 3 years now, I've been saying, like, let's see it in a game. And it still just hasn't happened, really.
Yeah, I guess that's the surprising part. Like he just seemed like not a sure thing, but he seemed like
Right.
a real potential. And it's still early. Like
Yeah.
I'll give him a little more chance. I do want to bring up real quick. You mentioned Anthony Jennings, so that brought me. Kyle Duggar played 14 snaps last week.
He,
Likewise,
he's
don't
started
recall-
2 games in a row, but he's barely played. Yeah.
yeah, likewise, don't recall those. Also, I checked, and do you know how many snaps Jabril Peppers played last week for Pittsburgh? On
0.
defense? 0. 7 special team snaps. So
Oh, he
don't
played on
expect.
special teams. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what units exactly, but I could probably figure it out given that it was 7. I don't know how many punts they had. But I wouldn't expect that to be a major storyline this week. But it is interesting because we all kind of pooped our pants a little bit when Peppers got cut.
Right.
And
And obviously, it's hard to like come in immediately and start on a different team or anything like that. But yeah.
right. But yeah, to get 0 defensive snaps for a defense that needs help at
Right.
least stands out. So we got to be a little self-aware on that one. I'm trying to look.
6 kick return snaps and 1 in kick coverage.
Okay.
So he wasn't the kick returner, but he was on the kick return team and 1 on kick coverage.
Which he is a kick returner, so he does look big.
Mm.
He looks like he's carrying some weight.
Interesting.
You didn't notice that?
I don't know if I've seen him in a Steelers uniform yet.
Yeah, I saw him at practice in a video. Anyways,
Interesting.
that's your safety.
He's wearing number 40. Oh my god, that feels illegal.
We have some major number situations to get to.
Is
This
it
is
the kicker stuff?
it is so bad. He's wearing Lawyer Malloy's jersey to kick field goals. What the hell is that? He can't
What
have 36.
what number would you
Kicker.
prefer a kicker to wear?
Single digits at all times.
I
You could
I
probably get
so
away
I
with
don't
it.
like him wearing 36. Like you said, that's Larry Malloy's number.
You could get into the
Um,
teens if you want.
I'm fine with kickers wearing numbers in the 60s.
Who?
It's ugly, but just like whatever, just do it. Like just give him the last number that no one wants.
Yeah, like when you
I
cut a
don't think a
guard.
kicker needs to take like a number that a wide receiver would want to wear. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not to disparage kickers, but that's the way they do it in college. Is that like it's like, oh, he's wearing number 97 or he's wearing number like 65 or something. You know?
Yeah, I would like a study commissioned on the numbers worn around the league by kickers because you just like 36 is ridiculous.
It is pretty ridiculous.
Like okay, Boswell wears 9 for Pittsburgh. Nine's a bad number for a kicker, but it's so much better than 36.
Well,
Also,
yeah, because this is like
a
old
multiple.
guard, new guard kickers. If you've been on a team for long enough, then you're gonna have a good number.
Or do they just give you the single digit that's available?
Well, yeah, well, they used to, but now like Tyler Loop for the Ravens is wearing 33 because no one
And he
wanted
was
that.
he was the first kicker drafted in Ravens
Right.
history.
The Browns kicker is wearing number 25, which that is really bad.
You can't do that. What's Prater wearing? Prater's wearing 15 because he's the injury replacement for Bass. So it's like,
Okay.
sorry, buddy, you got to wear 15, which is, I mean, you can't have 2 single digits dedicated to kickers.
It is true that a kicker should wear a single like it
I have a
aesthetically,
take.
yes, but I also don't want them stealing a good number from a defensive back or a wide receiver
I have
or
a
a
take.
quarterback.
Here's
Yeah.
a take. Kickers shouldn't have numbers.
Just have K on their jerseys.
Just a blank, like
Just
a Halloween
I'm
costume.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Just like when they wear it for their headshots, you see
Yeah.
like sometimes if you go to like Pro Football Reference and hover, like you get to see there's no number there. It's
Right.
just for the collar. Um, just that. Just like it's sort of a jersey, but you don't need a number. We know what you're doing out there.
Yeah, like you're not no one's gonna I don't know. No one's gonna
Just
think that you're a linebacker out there.
yeah, you have rules for numbers and positions.
Yeah.
Kickers are the blank ones. And they're
I think
kickers.
something has to be on it though. A blank jersey would look really bad out there, I think.
How about you know how like the Buckeyes give you a Buckeye if you have a good player or whatever?
Yeah.
Every missed kick, you have to wear a patch. For your season or career, you can figure it out. And so if someone's out there with all these patches, they're just looking down and they're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
kind of like when I stand over my golf ball and I'm like, I'm gonna shank this one in the woods. It's just like that's all is in your mind. Bad swing thought. I like that.
Yeah.
I have good
No,
ideas.
I think these are good ideas. Maybe an exclamation point on their jerseys. Maybe an asterisk. Asterisk.
Blank. I
Asterisk.
stand by blank.
Blank is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
36 is bad though.
yeah, 36 is rough. You want to talk about what Drake May was talking about
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers
Yeah.
yesterday.
So
This is a tough pill for Patriots fans and Tom Brady fans to swallow that Drake May is a super fan, was a childhood super fan of Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers.
And so this goes back to last year when he
Yes.
was waiting to give Rodgers a handshake after the week 2 loss in New York
Yep.
and told Mike Garafolo, I'm waiting for the GOAT. And it's like, well, kids these days use the word GOAT so incorrectly. Like, oh
It's
yeah,
true.
he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. No, 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 no. There can only be one GOAT. And so you wrote a story last year about how big of a fan he was, right?
Yeah, I talked to him in the locker room about it one on one.
And
Did
what
so put on my reporting hat.
yeah, this is the quote from last year. He was my favorite player growing up. I had a phone case with Aaron Rodgers on it for like 5 years of my life. So that was a quote exclusive to Doug last year. And now
It's true.
yesterday, Doug followed up on this.
I did.
This was not exclusive. It was at the podium.
No. Yep.
And the question was just, you're a big fan of Drake May, right? Like, you're a big fan of Aaron Rodgers. Well, what do you like about him?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And now I'm going to read the whole quote. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just very talented, the way, throwing the football. He's got some swagger to him. I think just a special, how he throws the football. I remember watching last year when Jacoby was playing. I was just watching him warm up. It's something you don't take for granted, someone that throws a football that way. Just like I said, his swagger. Big fan. So that was a little chaotic, but you got the message. And then
Yep.
someone asked, do you emulate anything from his game? And he said, shoot, it's hard to emulate the way he spins it. I mean, he spins it with the best of them. True. Right on. Shoot,
Yep.
I remember in 8th grade, I was playing baseball in different sports. I looked up grip, how to hold a football. So I looked up Aaron Rodgers' grip, and I've had the grip ever since. So I don't know that Aaron Rodgers has a different grip on the football, but it's good he taught Drake May, secondhand how to do that.
Yeah.
It's worked
It's
out
kind
for
of
him.
interesting because Drake May's dad was a quarterback.
Yeah,
He's
but no
not
one
using
makes
his
each other
dad's grip.
different. You ever try to teach your daughter anything? Like, dads
It's
are idiots.
legitimately impossible.
I tried to teach my kids how to swim because I was a swim instructor for like 5 years. I taught millions of children how to swim.
Yeah.
And my kids were like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to listen to you. And I had to go bring them to lessons. So, thank God Aaron Rodgers is there to step in.
Yeah.
So then there's more. It's not just little things. I think his play fakes are unbelievable. Also true. He had a great one last week. I think the way he gets defenders, he got someone last week on a play fake, and just his intensity. His cadence is one of the best in the league. Also true. I'm not going to get that this early in my career, but try to work towards it. He's so good at drawing guys off sides and taking advantage of big plays. Like I said, special talent, moving guys, moving defenders, and throwing into tight windows. It's pretty cool to watch. So on the surface, you're listening, you're like, good Lord, you don't see a pro athlete gush over a fellow athlete like this. However, if you look at the individual traits that he's looking at, they are achievable and worthwhile things to improve upon. Like when you're last week, it was what's on his plate, too much on his plate.
Right.
And when you're trying to wrap your head around the offense and running it and everything like that is a lot, you don't really have the time to work on your that's sort of extra, but it's something that as you get more mastery and control over your job, it's something that you can add to. So I find it was comical how much he loves Aaron Rodgers.
He does love Aaron Rodgers. I do think
he's not wrong on a lot of those.
He's talking about like the way he spins it. I think that's the one that's you either have it or you don't, might not be as achievable. But Drake May obviously can throw the ball very well. So that's not necessarily a big issue. But yeah, no, it's little things that probably helped Aaron Rodgers sit for 2 or 3 years that he could work on behind the scenes. And then when he was a starting quarterback, he just had them. So hopefully Drake May's not having too much thrown on his plate, and that these are things that he can continue to work on as he goes along. Because like I was talking about it a few weeks ago, the way that like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes like manipulate defenders when they're running the ball and like get them to think that they're going down when they're not. It's frustrating to watch when it's happening against your favorite team, but it's also something that quarterbacks can do to pick up like an extra 5 or 10 yards that are really beneficial.
Well, I brought it up Sunday when we talked, the play where he threw in the right flat to Henry. He's
Yeah.
rolling right. Judon is in coverage on the tight end, running stride for stride. And he looks back over the field like, oh,
Right.
I can't throw to him. He's
Yeah.
covered, and it draws the defender away, and he throws a nice pass on the run. Like, that is something you don't expect out of a rookie that you might start to see in year 2 that
Yep.
is starting to build. If you had more on it, we can go, but I had another take off that one.
No, go ahead.
I was a little sick to my stomach when he said Rodgers winning the Super Bowl was the first one he watched. It's just like I guess Drake May was born in what, 2002?
I think so.
So he
Yeah.
was like
So that
8.
he was 8. Yeah.
So I was sick. I was just completely nauseous that an adult, like a fully formed adult pro athlete,
Yeah.
just was 8 years old during a game when I was working at Nesson. That's oh god. I was in
What
my 3rd year at Nesson, I think.
What's the first Super Bowl that you remember?
So that's I believe it was the Niners and the Chargers. I definitely
Okay.
distinctly remember that one. I'd have to look at what was before that because I remember my father ran a bar, and
Mhm.
so Super Bowl was a big night with squares and everything. So I just remember being home with my brother, and I was like, for the first time, like, yeah, Super Bowl, this is exciting.
Right. Yeah.
And it was the worst, most ass game ever played. Like, it was just a stomping. The Niners. What was the score of that game? 49 to
49-26.
26.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that close. It was
No.
28-10 at halftime. It was 42-18 after. It was just such a beatdown. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think if there was one, but so that was 94. I was 8 also, so that makes sense. I did watch the Cowboys before that.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I watched the whole game, if that makes sense.
The first one I remember is one of the Cowboys Bills.
Yeah,
I unfortunately I just don't remember which one it was because I was what
6 or
6 or
7.
7 or whatever. But my grandparents were there and both my grandparents died in 1994. So it was probably it could have been either one of those. Probably the 93 game, I guess.
Yeah. I can say with certainty I don't remember the Redskins Bills Super Bowl.
No, I
That
don't
was
either. I don't
before my
remember
time.
Giants Bills. I
But yeah,
I remember, but my first football, I remember watching the 1991 Washington Huskies because I was a huge fan of Mario Bailey. He was their like 1,000-yard Heisman candidate wide receiver. So I do have football memories prior to my
yeah.
first Super Bowl, I remember. But yeah,
Have I shared the first game I went to with you?
I don't know.
It was I'm gonna get the it was you won't believe it. It was incredible. It was 93. Yep, December 12th, 1993. This was a home game, Foxborough Stadium against the Cincinnati Bengals, the 1-11 Patriots against the 1-11 Bengals.
Oh my
We
God.
scored tickets, if you can believe it.
Jeez.
Um, the final score, Patriots win 7-2.
Wow. Oh my God. You saw a safety.
It was an intentional safety according to the box score. I'll be honest, being that considering I was 7,
Yeah.
I don't recall the strategy of the intentional safety. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what the Bengals were trying to get out of that. But yeah, Drew Bledsoe had 106 yards passing.
Wow.
Leonard Russell rushed for 97 yards.
Wow.
The quarterback for the Bengals was David Klingler, who went 9 for
Of course.
25 for 89 yards. Not a good 30.2 rating. So this was my introduction to professional football in front of my eyes. It was incredible.
I still have like old programs from when I went to Seahawks games as a child. My dad had season tickets to the Seahawks in at least 90 and 91. So my first game would have been sometime in 1990. I was very young. But I'll have to look back through and see what the actual first one I went to was. But
Yeah.
would have been Dave Craig at quarterback. I know that.
I went to a lot of BC games. When was Mike Mamula there? It was later. I think that was later.
92 or 93. Yeah.
So yeah, that's when I started going to BC games. But you know what stood out? My biggest memory. They had that awful AstroTurf. They had the track around the field. Like, it was not a great place. Is the kick? A lot of barefoot kickers back then.
Oh yeah.
And it was always like that. I was 6 years old, 7 years old. I'm like, how does that make any sense? Like,
It
that is
still doesn't make any sense to me.
well. Notice nobody does it anymore.
Yeah.
They should have asked the 7-year-old, like, hey, this guy wants to kick barefoot. Should we let him? I'd be like, hell no. That doesn't. You can't kick it as hard without a friggin' shoe on your foot.
I've read about that before. Like one guy did it and then became a trend. And then I was like, this is a dumb trend.
Also, do you know where Boston College is?
Just
Massachusetts.
Yeah, Chestnut Hill.
Do you know what happens in November and December?
It gets cold.
It gets cold. You want to kick a bear, like just
I
one of the
know.
dumbest things I've ever
Well,
seen.
also, like, what if you have to like tackle? What if someone steps on your foot? It's not good.
Yeah, it was the '90s. A lot of dumbassery. But anyways, that was
It's
good
true.
story time.
Yeah,
So
it was
yeah,
great
I
story
guess
time.
the counter is we're still young enough that someone could hear us say, 93, 94 was our first Super Bowls, and be like, oh my God, I'm so
Right.
old. But we're feeling that for I think the first time, and it doesn't feel great.
I've got something related to all this because remember when you were a kid, maybe this wasn't the case for you. I don't know. But in the Kingdom, when I was a kid, in between innings, they would show like baseball bloopers or
Sure.
like football bloopers or whatever. And like I remember them being like pretty funny. They showed baseball bloopers at the Red Sox game last night and it was just errors. Like what happened to
Mm.
bloopers? What happened to baseball
Yeah,
bloopers? You know?
like
That
ball off.
used to I feel like baseball bloopers in the 90s was a huge thing. Like people
Yeah,
made a lot of money off sports bloopers. What
it's
happened to them?
VHS. Yeah, you could sell on
Yeah,
tape. You could have hockey fights, that was a
right.
whole industry.
Yeah.
And like you'd go to like someone's house and they'd pop in the
They
hockey fight video.
right. Or they'd have an hour-long video of sports bloopers. What happened to
Or
are
or
athletes just
violent.
better now?
There were also violent NFL hits, which you can't do anymore.
Yeah, I had Merchants of Menace that I watched religiously as a kid, where it was just like pass rushers literally ripping the helmets off of
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
'90s were great. I would say, are the athletes better? I mean, the A's did not look better last night. Some of the misplays they were making.
Right.
I would say maybe they don't like to embarrass the players. They had less. They had less. What's the right word? I don't want to say dignity back then. Less power. I don't know.
Yeah.
There'd be some sort of issue now because players are sensitive little babies in baseball. I
Hmm.
don't know. I tweeted a video from the game last night. I don't know what your vantage point was on the A's right fielder trying to track a ball near the pesky pole, and not only being about 15 to 20 feet off, knowing where the ball is, but also being about 15 to 20 feet off of knowing where the wall is, and just running full speed after checking.
Yeah.
So he's chasing the ball toward the foul pole. He checks down like, oh, there's the wall, and then just runs straight into it and acts like it came out of nowhere. Meanwhile, the ball is about 7 rows deep, and it's like you were never going to catch that, and somehow you thought you had a lot. I've watched it a lot.
You know what? That'll go in the next baseball bloopers
It was
because
it
it
was
was
ideal.
the ball was so far up into the stands and he just had like, because my vantage point was seeing him try to collect his hat
Oh
from
yeah,
because I was following the ball, not the player. But then I saw the player trying to get his hat from the stands. I was like, how the hell did he lose his hat in the stands?
he ran
And then I
right
saw
into
the
a
replay
man.
of him just running into the wall and going like
He went
5 feet into it.
face first into just a man's armpit who was not looking at him because the ball was so far away.
Right. Yeah,
It
exactly.
was I think this play deserves to go to the Smithsonian.
Yeah, no, that was good. I do have two other takes from last night's Red
Okay.
Sox game.
Okay.
One was one that I texted you. Fashion police here. Baseball players wearing gray uniforms, like gray pants with white shoes. I think just always looks bad and dumb.
Yep. Should
Like
only be for the All-Star game.
right, or when they're wearing white uniforms. But
Right, but
like
I'm saying like
yeah,
the contrast is like, oh, this is a different look for the
right.
All-Star game.
But like
Not for
I'm fine with any color shoes they want, like for the A's, yellow, green, whatever, or black,
or like
or
neon
gray,
orange. Sometimes they'll go like
orange,
pastel or
purple,
something.
whatever. Like all those look fine, but for
No.
some reason I think it's always I usually see it as a pitcher. It's like a pitcher wearing like gray pants all the way down to their cleats and
Yeah.
then shiny white cleats. I'm like this just looks bad.
Yeah.
So is what it is. Other one too. As children, we never saw pitchers wearing single digits, and now pitchers wear more single digits, and I'm tired of it. I don't
Okay.
want any more single digit pitchers.
I make an exception for 0. 0 looks good on a pitcher.
That's
Like
fine. I
out of
probably prefer
one
a
for the
double zero, but zero's fine. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. That's I agree with that. I'm trying to think of a single digit that would work, and 0 is the only one I got.
Yeah. I don't think it looks right. I don't know.
Like
It is what it is.
one
But
one
also,
is a
like,
speedy center fielder. 2 is like a utility infielder.
right.
3 is tough. Babe Ruth really put his mark on that one.
It's true.
It's hard to envision many 3s, right? You can't wear 3.
Yeah, I don't know.
4 is also a second baseman. 5 is strictly Nomar, but a lot of people wear 5.
Yeah.
Makes sense. 6 is a bad number.
6 is not a great number in any sport. Yeah, I don't know why that is, but it's just it's not great.
No, not good in basketball, not good in hockey. Yeah, 7's a great number.
7's good. 8's pretty
Yeah.
good. And 9's not a great number actually.
No, Ted Williams though, so you
Yeah.
really
Nine's good in
elevated it.
baseball, I guess. I was thinking about quarterbacks. Like 9 isn't a great quarterback number.
True. Joe Burrow has 9.
Yeah.
Did you see the meme of him? It was like, how many working toes do I have? And it was just his 9. And it was like, that's not nice.
That's not a great meme. That's kind of dumb.
Yeah, it was not a good meme at all.
There's some good memes out there, and that's not even a very creative one. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. Do you think? So can we? You had other takes, but just real quick.
It might have been all. That might have been my
Okay.
takes. Bloopers, white shoes, and
Okay.
single
Yep.
digits.
So the transitive property doesn't really work in sports, but it'll be interesting tonight to see the Dolphins take on the Bills. We
Right.
assume they're going to get rolled, but also the Raiders looked like complete ass in week 2 after
Yeah.
looking professional, and I wonder. We saw it here last year. A bad
Mhm.
team can have a great week 1 against
Right.
a team they shouldn't beat. So ultimately, we'll find out if the Raiders are professional or ass. But it was a little jarring to see that Raiders team struggle so bad,
Mhm.
offensively at least, to just look functional. Like, what was Geno Smith's numbers? I don't even know. It was ugly.
He was
Genty.
24 of 43 for 180 yards and 3 interceptions.
Yeah. So they were
It's
a
rough.
mess. And so I don't know if that makes the Patriots' loss to them look worse or if it's one of those anomalies, but it's something that all we have to go off right now is 2 games.
Yeah.
So we're going to go off those games. But I'll be interested. Like, let's say the Dolphins look better against the Bills than we expect. Maybe people look more highly upon the Patriots win in week 2.
It's definitely possible. I doubt that happens. I already saw a Dolphins fan on Twitter on like I think it was Monday or Tuesday being like, it sucks that there's like no Thursday night game this week. Like I wish there was a game to look forward to on Thursday. It's just they didn't schedule one this week, and it didn't get me for a second because I remembered the Dolphins Bills was on Thursday night. But like
Yeah.
the people that it did get, I just thought it was funny that they've
Do you
given
know?
up on everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be interested because Thursday night games are weird. Usually the big favorite
Right.
barely wins because
Yeah.
it's sort of a fake game anyway. So maybe we won't take too much from it. But I think it's interesting. I think the AFC East, that's the other factor is
Yeah.
if you can get. What did you have them against the Jets and the Dolphins this year? Probably 2-2, maybe 3-1.
Probably, yeah. But yeah,
But if
that
you can
could
get
wind up
3-1,
being like,
if
yeah.
you get 3-1 against those guys, you can go 3-3 in your division. Maybe 4-2.
God, I mean, if those teams are trash, you could go 4-0 against those teams. And
Right.
they
If you can
look,
get 4 division wins this year,
yeah.
that does change kind of a little bit of the scope. So I don't know. It's interesting. There was another transitive week 2 property,
Oh,
but I forgot
real
it.
quick before you get to that, uh, I don't want to stray too far from the Raiders. Ashton Genty, it's looking a little concerning, and like I could wind up looking really stupid if he winds up being Barry Sanders in his career. But
Yeah.
first 2 weeks have been not great. And I know that all the fantasy people want him to play more. They're like, he's not playing enough. When he's out there, he's not looking good though.
Yeah, I would agree. No, but then like he had that one ball he caught in the right flat behind the line of scrimmage, and then just like
Yeah.
on a dime and left that guy in
Right.
his dust. He ran his first run of the night, just ran straight through a man. Like there was no point
Yeah.
where he was like, "Oh, this man's going to tackle me."
Right.
His mind was just, "I'm going to make this guy fall over and keep going."
Yeah.
So
There's
there's
glimmers.
still, yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, 81 rush yards in 2 games and 3 receiving yards is pretty crazy. But it's
Sorry,
not high.
your other transitive point.
No, I couldn't think of it. So I was gonna. That's what I was. I
Glad I
had another one.
interrupted you then.
No, I had another one, but I can't remember it. So we'll see what happens.
I saved you on that one.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So Patriots Steelers this week, 1 o'clock.
Predictions.
Foxborough.
Final
Predictions.
score. Patriots 50, Steelers 49.
Wow, that's bold. What's the over under in this game? Do you know what the point total is?
All right, Mr. Gambling Man, I'll get it up for you. Okay, if you just want to give me a second here, I'm gonna get to scores, and we're gonna go to week 3, and we're
Yeah.
gonna find it. I know the Steelers are favored, right? So yeah, 1.5
They are
total.
1.5.
Total's 44.5. So I'm liking the over.
44.5.
Let's say the Patriots can score 28.
I'm
Can
gonna
your
go.
can your Steelers get 15?
I'm gonna go 27-24 Patriots.
Okay, tight one. Now that's the ESPN line. Don't get mad at me if someone else has it off by a point or a half a
It's
point.
fine. I'm good.
Uh,
I'm not a. I'm
I don't.
my
Well,
least
what do
my
you?
least relatable trait is that I'm not a sports gambler. I
Okay,
love DraftKings. I love fantasy. Or I like fantasy. I love DraftKings, but I'm not a
yeah,
big gambler.
I'll think around a little bit from time to time, but it's not really my bag. What do you make of the Steelers being favored? I find that a
I think
little.
it's a little odd. They
Yeah,
were so bad in week 2 at home
and they
against the
weren't.
Seahawks, who were fine, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Now,
Sam Darnold
granted,
is their quarterback.
one of those touchdowns was a total special teams boner by that rookie, right?
Yes, but they did lose by 2 touchdowns.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, and then against the Jets, they scored a lot of points. They let up a lot of points.
right.
And the Jets
But
were
then, I
god
mean,
awful in week 2.
Justin Fields was horrendous in week
Yeah.
2, and
So
obviously he was dealing with he was since diagnosed with a concussion,
is
so
it
that
just
probably played
strict?
into it. But
Yeah. But is it just strictly like a Rodgers factor that Rodgers is worth X amount of points? Because
it
if
must be, yeah,
so, don't love that. Did he play when Drake May got concussed last year? Was Rodgers playing?
yeah.
He didn't win that game. He lost to
No,
Jacoby.
yeah, he lost that game. Yeah,
So I just I don't know. I'm not a gambling expert, not giving gambling advice, but I
no,
see New England getting a point and a half at home against the so-so Steelers team.
right.
It'd
I
be
know.
fun. And
I
sports are
I
hard to
think that
predict.
I don't know. The Steelers roster just also is not that great. We already talked about their is Jalen Warren keeping you up at night?
No, I mean he's a good
Is
player.
is Kenneth Gainwell keeping you up at night?
Mm-mm.
Is
No,
Calvin Austin keeping you up at night?
mm-mm.
Pat Fryermuth, Johnny
Fryermuth, yeah,
Smith. What?
Fryermuth. I'm not losing sleep, but I'm studying.
Yeah,
You know,
and Johnny Smith had some big games last year. So those are decent guys, obviously. And DK Metcalf maybe keeps you up at night a little bit, but
yeah,
they I don't know,
it's not
they've got
overwhelming. You shouldn't get overwhelmed.
no. Yeah. And Rodgers is just so hot and cold, hit or miss at this point that I don't know. I don't get the Steelers love.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement. I think the Patriots win this one, and it'll be fun. I
Well, you
think,
already said 50-49.
yeah, maybe 51-49. I haven't done the math yet, but I just think, let's say that Achan's foot wasn't out of bounds. Let's say they score the touchdown and lose, and they're 0-2 coming here. Like there's sort of a not dreariness, but the
Yeah.
same way that the Dolphins came out and got booed in the first quarter for going 3-and-out.
Right.
You would risk that this week. I think those spirits in that building would be a little bit higher coming into this. And even if there's a slow start, it won't be like
Right.
the onslaught
No.
of rage and negativity.
I think it's going to be I think assuming the weather's going to be good, I think that it's going to be a fired up environment. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
I think not like 2000. It's not gonna be like 2014 era or like 2016
No.
era, but I think it's gonna be pretty fired up.
It's going to be like 68 degrees and sunny. So it's going
Yeah,
to be primo. And if I'm not mistaken, I will shut up at some point, right? But this is actually very important to Patriots
yeah.
fans. If you stuck around for 64 minutes, you finally got the goods. This game, which will be on in a bit more markets than last week's game,
Wow.
you get Iron Eagle and JJ Watt.
Well, yeah. JJ Watt
Which
threw me a
the
follow
Watt.
on Twitter this week.
Oh, nice. Tell him to listen to the Pats chat because we said really nothing about his brother, good or bad. We just talked about him a little. But that is a big upgrade. Last week you had Andrew Catalon, Charles Davis, Jason McCourty, which was okay, but the technical broadcast
Right.
was the biggest failure in the history
Yeah.
of Earth. And of course, you had the Didi's Archuleta matchup in week 1. You
Mhm.
gotta keep playing well you gotta earn it. And I think
Yeah.
you get Iron Eagle in week
It's
3.
big. It's
That's
big.
good.
It
That's
is.
good. You're gonna get next week. Oh my God, is that on Fox? because I don't know the rules anymore.
Panthers,
Yeah,
Patriots. Yeah, I don't know
I,
which one
I
you're
don't
talking
know.
about.
There's no rhyme or reason to it some of these days now, but
That
that
could be the
one,
lowest totem. Yeah,
yeah, is that like a Mark Sanchez game?
might be. Yeah.
Some
Although
of the
he might even be
he
above
might have
that
moved
game.
up.
Yeah.
There's a all right. Atlanta at Carolina this week. I don't mean to be disrespectful. This is an adult man. This is a
Yes.
human. I'm not, but I've never heard of Tim Brando. Is the
Okay.
play-by-play? You've
Yeah.
heard of him?
I have heard of him. I think he's been around for a while.
Okay. Well, maybe I recognize his voice. Do you know who his color commentator is?
Tim Brando is 69 years old. I
Oh,
do not know.
it's Matt Millen.
No
So
way.
you are staring down the barrel of a Tim Brando Matt Millen game next week potentially.
That's wild. I
Yeah.
mean,
So yeah,
wow.
Sanchez works with Adam Amin, so that's got to be their second booth.
No, Greg
No,
Olson's
third
their second
booth.
booth.
Greg Olson's. So he's moved up. I mean, Sanchez is fine, but you got a lot of him over the past couple.
So Tim Brando's 69, Matt Millen is 67.
I got to watch the Falcons Panthers this week.
Is that the oldest booth since Madden Summerall?
I mean, Al Michaels alone. Like I don't
That
know
is
how old. I
true.
don't know how old Herb Street is. Probably like 50, but
I
like
guess
that might be
Michael's
enough.
Collinsworth was probably
Yeah,
might have exceeded that age
yeah,
within their last year.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I know Tim Brando. I just didn't know him by name. He's a face you've seen on TV.
So Herb Street's 56. Al
I mean, Michaels
Michaels
is
is
80.
80. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's up there.
80 plus 56 is 136.
By that measure, though.
69 plus 67 is 136. So same age.
Wow,
Wow.
this is
Like that.
exclusive. So
It
if
is.
anyone wants to, uh, what you called, steal this information, make sure you properly
Yeah.
cite it. Yeah. Well, anyways, should be a fun one. I think the Patriots should win, but as is the case that I think is going to be every week, nothing will surprise me.
No, I completely agree with that. And I don't know. I really look forward now every week to Sunday. Like the week is fine. It's cool to see practice and write about these guys and everything, but like every week now I'm just so amped to see the games
Yeah,
on Sunday, which I don't think I could say the last couple of years.
for
It feels
sure.
different this year.
Maybe last September, so they've got a ways to go. I will say, you know what hit this week? That like Tuesday depression, where it's
Mm,
Tuesday at 4 and you're like, there's no football game tonight. Like,
right.
especially with the
Yep.
double header Monday. So like
Yeah.
I consumed so much football Sunday and Monday
Right.
that Tuesday it was like hard to come down and not have a game. Like there should
Yeah.
be like Falcons Panthers type game on Tuesday at like 7 just to sort of help you down from that
Right.
football rush.
I always get it on Wednesdays. I'm like, oh my God, I still have another day before I get to watch football. Tuesday's not quite as bad for me. But
Catch your breath.
Wednesday stuff. By the way, I know everyone's waiting on bated breath. Pat Summerall and John Madden in their final season together in 2002 were combined 138 years old. So
They got it.
2 years older than the two current crews.
I didn't realize they only made it 1 year past that fateful Super Bowl 36. That was good timing.
That's what Google is telling me, that their final broadcast was Super Bowl 36.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, yeah, sure. Whatever. Great call.
Oh, you know what?
What?
I think they were only a combined 136
Oh
because
my
their
God.
birthdays were not until April and May. So we're still at 136. Look at that.
Wow.
This is breaking
We
news.
should do a
It's the
power
only
rankings.
stuff you get on Pat's.
We should do a power rankings in the off season of so they played 9 Super Bowls. Power rankings of broadcast crews during those,
Oh wow.
because you had many different. You had Summerall Madden. The
Yeah.
second one, you had Greg Gumbel and Phil Simms.
Yep.
04 was probably Buck, right?
Buck and Aikman.
Was Aikman doing it in 04?
Maybe not.
Maybe we're doing this right now, Doug.
I know.
04 was Joe Buck and Troy Aikman and Chris Collinsworth.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. 07 was definitely Buck,
Yeah. Let me.
right? I just feel
okay.
like Eli Manning.
I've got a
Joe
list.
Buck. Joe
Okay,
Buck.
so
Troy
it
Aikman.
was Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then 11 was
11 was Michaels and Collinsworth.
Yep, I remember that. So then
14 was
14.
also Michaels and Collinsworth because that.
Yep, I remember the random Deflategate fourth quarter timing. It was like, well, it's kind of weird time to bring that up.
Then we had Buck Aikman, Michaels Collinsworth, Nance Romo.
Nance Romo was the Rams one. That was the last one.
Yep.
That's crazy. Jim Nance called one Patriots Super Bowl.
That is crazy. Yeah.
Who's called more Patriots games during the Tom Brady era than Jim Nance? And he got one Super Bowl.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I know people have their issues with Chris Collinsworth, and I should probably
do they?
But I think Michaels Collinsworth would be number one for me.
Yeah.
And then probably Madden Summerall.
Yeah.
And then I see Buck Aikman.
Well,
I think
there's different Buck
recently.
Aikman.
I think Buck Aikman has only recently gotten good.
03 Buck Aikman or 04 I have no time for.
Right.
So
maybe Buck Aikman Collinsworth was probably better than Buck Aikman, I would guess.
I really don't remember, man. That was so long ago.
I know.
But
Gumbel Sims honestly probably would have been in that era. Sims would have been better than Buck Aikman for me.
Oh, at that time, yeah.
But
definitely not topping my list or coming here. I didn't enjoy Phil Sims's color commentary that much.
Yeah. But at the time I preferred them to Buck Aikman.
Want to know the greatest Phil Simms call ever? People forget because like he called the tuck rule, which was like incredible. If you go back and watch in live moment, he knew the tuck rule was a rule.
Yeah.
I don't know that any of us did.
That's crazy.
He did. But also, if you watch that game in full, at one point he's just like, and fans have thrown snowballs up in our booth and they're being escorted out right now. It's like, no, they're not, Phil. They just chuck snowballs in your face and are laughing about it. But not that I condone such behavior, but the reaction of, and they're getting escorted out. It's like, dude, have you ever been to Foxborough Stadium? I'm not sure they hired security. It was
no. Nance Romo would have probably been above Buck Aikman because that's when Romo was still Romo too.
He was only in year 2, I want to say.
Yeah, so that was kind of like the peak.
It was before you got the, oh, Jim, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Brag to us because we were at these games, so we weren't really.
No, it's true. I wasn't really watching them, the broadcast, but I've watched a lot of these human beings broadcasts in the past.
I mean, I've watched Super Bowl 51 quite a bit, and I think Buck did a good job there. But the game-winning touchdown, he kind of beefed it. James White, he really didn't have a good call on that because I guess he wasn't sure.
Right.
But
well,
all right, we did it.
That. Yeah. We'll do it again during the. We'll do it again after this year's Super Bowl that features the Patriots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agree.
All right. We'll talk to you guys after the game.
Bye.
Goodbye.